Hi guys, welcome back again. Oh my god, wait. I'm just been setting up for almost 30 minutes, I think. I have a cup of coffee with me. I've been loving coffee this past few days. I just really hope I won't get anxiety attack later because I'm gonna go to the gym. Today I'm gonna be talking about something that I find so less interesting. And it's really funny because this is one of my niche content on TikTok, and a lot of my followers like this, specifically girls. So I think they are in need of this. For today, we're gonna be talking about men or just relationship in general. And I find it really weird because I could trace back to the time where I would spend my 24 hours of waking day just craving and just yearning for validation from them. I would post intentionally on my social media accounts for me to get reaction from them, to get those love reactions. It's almost a fucking universal experience of majority of girls, especially in our teenage years, where we are trying to expose yourself in a relationship and to give yourself grace. That is patriarchy and propaganda at work, because they have been programming us to think that we live for them, that we live to sustain them. That idea literally disgusts all my nerves and cells right now. I don't think you get it, you guys. And I think with the emergence of feminism, we are really being encouraged to rethink all of the beliefs that we inherited from past generations, from society. We are being encouraged to think critically as to how we are being programmed and all of the preconceived notions of how we should maneuver around them. And also with the emergence of this modern perception and idea about decentering them and detaching from them actually helps us to really think, okay, to use this, okay, instead of this. They are using human nature against us. Along with our feminine energy is our tendency of over nurturing things or over nurturing the relationship that we're dealing with. That is actually something that triggers our tendency of centering relationship or centering men, because we have heard it time and time again that you will be put in this altar of piety. You will be regarded high when you live for them. We are being reminded time and time again that all you could ever get for being like that is shame and a lot of wounds that you need to heal on your fucking own. Because you didn't hear it from me, maybe you heard it from Elsa posting on the internet saying that she literally did everything for this specific person. She let her boundaries get violated. She literally did everything that she needed to do in order for this man to treat her better, just ending up cheating on her, doing the most vile and disgusting treatment towards her. But what is the problem there? If we're gonna trace back to its very root, the cause of it is simple: us living for them, us centering them. We can have a beautiful relationship even if we have all ourselves, all of our well-being intact. I really want to put so much emphasis on that, because nowadays some fraction of people thinks that this whole percept of detachment and decentering them is problematic, and it's something that fucks up relationship, because they think that when you say that you have to detach or you have to decenter them, that means that you have to have a level of nonchalance or you have to stop giving a fuck about them. That is not entirely true, okay? Because when you love, when you expose yourself in a connection, when you are committed to a specific person, it is given for you to give a fuck. It is given for you to care, especially when you're a girl and you have your maternal instinct, okay? You are the universe, you are the mother nature, so you have the tendency of nurturing the other person. That is okay, okay? I'm a lovey-dovey girl, I'm a romantic girl, and I'm really proud to say that when I'm in a relationship, I nurture the other person. I care for them so much, okay? But I'm still secured and I'm still stable, because the thing is, I have a level of detachment from them, okay? And detachment just means that you have all your self boundaries, your self-respect and self-love and individualism all freaking intact. Because the thing about relationship nowadays is we are being encouraged to think that when you enter a relationship, you have to let go a chunk of you. And much worse is that you have to put label on yourself to give yourself an identity of being a girlfriend, being a partner, being a mother, being a wife. What can you get from doing that, honestly? I don't really get those girls who are like all of a sudden they stop hanging out with them friends, who stop doing their hobbies just because they are in a relationship. Oh my gosh, get a freaking life, girls, okay? And they would think that, oh my gosh, this is me being a lover girl, da da da. I can be a lover girl while still minding my own freaking business. It doesn't mean that you care less for the person just because you have a life on your own. Be careful around that kind of thinking, because that could be a narcissistic tendencies of some people out there, some vile and disgusting people. They would try to make you feel that you don't have a life outside of the relationship so that they can do whatever they want to you. They would manipulate you into thinking that you have nowhere else to fucking go. That is the tendency of almost of like the girls that I know nowadays who are really having a hard time when it comes to dealing with a specific person, specifically their partner. They have a crippling inferiority complex just because they built a life just around this specific person, especially when you are a girl with so much potential, when you are a girl with so much dream and so much aspirations and freaking goals. Please, okay, stop living your life for a bald-headed man. There's so much that we can achieve aside from, I don't know, cleaning a man's room. And that's the thing, okay, this might be problematic and toxic for a lot of people. Stop cleaning your man's fucking room, okay? Honestly, what are you guys doing? I did that, and up until now, that thought creeps in at 3 a.m. and I would have this like self-loathing like feeling towards myself, and I would want to give myself grace because again, that made me think that I'm being a good girlfriend. That might sound shallow for some people, but that actually speaks volume on how you value yourself. Because right now that I did all the freaking works, okay, that I built this specific person from scratch, why would I ever think that it is okay for me to clean a man's room? Me tending to his stuff, no. Okay, I'm gonna be out the freaking window. If you're gonna tell me right now that that is what it means to be a good girlfriend, I'm not a good girlfriend, okay? I don't want to be a good girlfriend. But a lot of you girls would be like, oh my gosh, I am incapable to do something like that because I just really find a hard time, because I feel like that would mean that I'm loving the person less. There are times where I'm gonna be like, do you love yourself honestly? Like, you literally saying to me right now, you can overextend yourself for a specific person, even if it means sometimes sabotaging yourself, abandoning yourself, letting your boundaries get violated. I don't really get it, okay? And that's something that I want to touch on next, self-love, okay? And I feel like it's very overrated, but I don't really think you girls get it, especially the conversation of self-love in a relationship, because a lot of us thinks that loving another person properly means that we have to love ourselves less. That is not actually true, especially with the whole idea of, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go into self-love because I'm going through a breakup, da da da, like I just let go of this specific person so I can now love myself and I can call all my energy back to me. So you mean to say when you were in a relationship you didn't love yourself? What? There are a lot of bad things that you can avoid when you know how to put yourself in so much high regards. That also should come unconditionally. A lot of us unintentionally try to put ourselves in a very bad situation, allowing the other person to treat us in ways that we know that is not right, just because we feel like we deserve it. That is because we have a fragmented way of seeing ourselves. Sometimes we just hate ourselves so much that we just allow ourselves to be in a very bad situation. That is a form of self-punishment. What are you punishing yourself for? Why do we run around and think that self-love is something that we should earn? Self-love is omni-fucking present. It is always there. You are made out of love, okay? Your authentic self, your true self is operating from love. So why are you denying yourself that? When you know how to love yourself properly, when you know how to pour your energy towards you, you will actually attract people. You become a magnet to people. This is my newest mindset. I would want to have a relationship. The loving them makes me feel like I'm loving myself more, and I'm not gonna settle with something that is not that. Loving a person should make you feel like you're loving yourself more, okay? That is why self-love will not fuck up your connection, honestly. It's only gonna fuck up your connection with someone who is not really for you, who are not the same wavelength as you, okay? Who is not your person. Because when you operate from so much love, you're also gonna get rid of yourself of so much insecurity and so much anxiety, because you are operating from so much authenticity that you don't really give a fuck about how the other person would act around you. I used to run around and teach my friends fucking manipulative techniques in order for the other person to treat them better, because I used to do that, and I mistaken that from so much self-security, because I would think that I should manipulate the other person to treat me in a way that I know I deserve, because I thought that I just love myself so much. But it is not true. That is stemming from so much insecurity. I was really anxious for the other person to hurt me. So I would literally do everything I can, even manipulate them for them to treat me better, because I don't know what to do if they're gonna treat me otherwise. And that's really the thing that comes with my healing right now, to humanize person, that they have their own fucking free will. Stop fucking up with people's free will. They can literally do everything they can. They can put leash on that specific person. If they want to cheat, they would cheat. You can always check their phones from time to time, or you cannot just like check their locations from time to time just for you to prevent them from doing you shitty, okay? Because at the end of the day, they would make a freaking way. But if you have a level of detachment and self-love, and you know how to honor your peace, you're not gonna give a fuck. That's one thing that I feel like that would contribute to the beautiful connection, or to the beautiful relationship that I want to have right now. I'm in so much security. I made the conscious decision to love them, to like them. But they probably have the qualities that I want my person to have. So I'm gonna love them unconditionally. I'm not gonna be restricted from anything that happened to me from my past. I'm not gonna let my wound and my trauma dictate how am I gonna be able to treat this specific person. Like, I am a person with so much freaking love, and I'm not gonna let my past hurt and my past trauma control me in the connection that I'm dealing with at the present. And that is really the beauty of healing, of tending to your roots and realizing that us operating in love should be a freaking default. When you operate in love, when you operate from so much peace and security, you're gonna allow the other person to be who they are, to be a human, okay, capable to make mistakes. That's the thing that I want you guys to realize. Like, give space for mistakes. That's the thing. We cannot expect people to be perfect and flawless, okay, because they are also driven by something that happened to them from their past. That's the thing about me, okay? Yes, I will not allow everything that happened to me from my past dictate how I would want to treat you, but there are times that it would creep in. That could be my dilemma, and there are literally times where I feel like the hyenas or the monster inside of me would like start creeping back in. I'm not freaking perfect. I still have a lot of things to work on myself. So why am I expecting to know exactly how I want to be treated? And that's the thing, okay? You cannot impose rules to other people when you're not imposing it to yourself, okay? Apply it to yourself first. Your love language that everyone's raving about right now, that love language is something that you should do first to yourself. You cannot expect the other person to treat you in ways that you don't even treat yourself. And I want you to realize that when you actually start giving yourself that, when you start giving yourself the love, the time, the gift, all the things that you want to have in a relationship, you're not gonna give a fuck about that specific person. You're just gonna allow them to give you what they can. Because you can like communicate to them your do's and don'ts. You can tell them what are your boundaries, what are the things that you would want in a relationship. You have to teach them, not by telling them, because words are just words, okay? Stop yapping so much and do the thing to yourself first, okay? And let them watch and let them learn from you. The right person who knows how to love you, they would learn from you, okay? Okay, this is one, like my partner to be treated because that's how she treats herself. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Even if that's something that is out of my comfort zone, just because I love this person and I put them in so much high regards and I want to be in their orbit and to be in their lives, I'm gonna do whatever it fucking takes. Or I really want to validate all of our anxiety towards imposing our boundaries, because we're just afraid to be left behind. We're like really afraid for the other person to leave us. And I honestly, that is something that I still want to figure out up to this day. Why is it that parting time and breakup is one of the most recurring pattern in a human life? In my 20 years of existence, I experienced multiple parting times with people, multiple breakup with people. And I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that I figured everything out, that I don't really get frustrated or I don't really get heartbroken when I found myself in that like specific situation. I still do, because I have a level of, you know, like care for the connection that I've lost. But the thing is, why do we just run around and think that the current situation that we are dealing with should like stay permanently? That parting time and breakup is one of the biggest factor why we fall into so much depression, into so much misery. Some people literally kill themselves just because they lost a specific person. You didn't hear it from me, of course you heard it from Buddha. This is really a very overrated quote to say, but attachment is the root of all freaking suffering. You know that, right? I know you know that. And yeah, I really want to put like so much emphasis on that right now, and I would want to talk about that to strengthen the percept of the centering relationship that I've said earlier. It's just that when you attach yourself too much on people, on a situation that you know someday you have to lose, because that is how life works. The relationship, the connections that we have are interchangeable. What's gonna happen when you lost them? There is always a time where we have to let things freaking go, okay? And I had to learn that the freaking hard way. Like, me manipulating the other person to treat me in a specific way is just me with my anxiety of them leaving me, or me leaving them, or me having to let go of the relationship. I have said this time and time again. Breakup and parting time is one of the most transformative journey. It's like a trapdoor to the reality that you want to live in, because when you let go of a specific person, you're literally doing the fucking leap, okay? You are literally quantum leaping to another timeline, because when you make the conscious decision that you want to have a better life, or you want to have a better reality, your specific partner could be the only one tying you to your old life. The universe and God needs to cut off that freaking tie in order for you to wander off, be in a timeline that you freaking deserve. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the other person is a bad person. No, that doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship that you had is a trash, because that's how soul contract works. You meet a specific person at a specific time in your life for you to learn the lesson, for you to have all the experiences and the memories that you need, okay, from that specific connection. And after you learn that, you have to let it go. Whoever leaves will be replaced by someone new, by someone better, who are at the same wavelength as you. We really outgrow people. We really outgrow situations. And maybe the person that you were dealing with cannot resonate with the current you. So you have to let it go. Because when you stay in a contract that is already over, the only thing that you get from that is misery, because you are resisting the normal flow of life. The other person, maybe like a finer one, is waiting for you, okay, on the other side, and you're not going to be able to meet them. You're still tied to this specific person. And lastly, build a life that no one can rob. Build a life that no one can steal. Like, strengthen yourself, strengthen your hobbies, strengthen your passion, strengthen your creativity and what you produce out there. And you have to have all of that intact when you are in a relationship. Those mundane and simple things are something that actually showers you, are actions that tend to your roots, okay? And when you have a very strong roots, and when you have a very strong foundation, you cannot be freaking sweat. You're gonna be like this, okay? Stable and strong. So that whatever that motherfucker would do to you, and we're not claiming the negative energy, you're just gonna be fine, okay? You can cry about it for 3 to 4 business days. I'm just kidding. Give yourself 3 months. That's pretty realistic. And after that, move the fuck on, because you're gonna be quantum leaping, baby, and we on the other side are rooting for you. And also, before I end this podcast, I would want to say that I don't really claim the negative energy that I'm talking about when it comes to men. I don't really want that to contradict everything that I've said, because everything that I've said is the mindset that I have developed from having fair share of shitty interactions from them. But since I'm a romantic, I'm really expecting a healthy relationship with my specific partner. And you can have all that, honestly, when you have yourself and when you love yourself. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone. I'm really excited to be a lover girl. This should be the last time that I'm gonna be talking about something like this, because honestly, like, I don't want to be labeled as a fucking man hater. Hatred is such a very potent energy, and hating men is actually another form of centering them. So please have a freaking life and stop hating men. Anyways, thank you so much, guys, for watching. I love you all. Bye bye.